NBN project that would cost the Republic of the Philippines an estimated 19.4 billion pesos, of which 19 billion would be sourced through foreign loans and 380 million pesos from the DOTC tell-off budgets. It would involve the utilization of Voice over Internet Protocol or VoIP-based single infrastructure network. To justify such a huge project cost, the DOTC tell-off officials cited savings from the retirement of old government communications network, savings on communications expenses due to VoIP use, savings on internet connections, and a centralized internet data center. On top of that, Mr. President, there would be savings because of internet connections to be used by the public school system. No financial analysis was submitted since the said project will not generate revenues, but supposedly result in government savings on telecommunications expenses, estimated at a total of 3.7 billion pesos annually. But the DOTC officials clarified that the government would be able to save only 50% of its fixed line telephone expenses and 80% of its telefax expenses. The NBN will not save on cell phone usage. Then, NEDA Secretary Romeo Neri pointedly wondered how savings could be generated on the retirement of the obsolete analog system carried by tell-off. ASEC Formoso replied that they would no longer have to buy expensive spare parts. This was just about the only honest statement made by ASEC Formoso. Secretary Neri wondered how huge savings could be generated from present internet usage when in truth and in fact, very few government offices have internet connections. He also asked how did the OTC quantify the savings in education, and would this not overlap with the previously approved Department of Education's cyber education project, the infrastructure cost of which was another 26 billion pesos. Undersecretary Paul Valderrama asked an even more basic question: why must government have its own interconnectivity infrastructure when there are private sector players in the industry? Using contorted reasoning, the answer was in effect because of the President's vision of a cyber corridor, her cabinet must simply operationalize. Mr. President, two eminent members of the academe, Professors Raul Pabella and Emmanuel De Dios of the UP School of Economics, had already debunked the economic sanity of this project, and I shall no longer perorate on this. Far be it for this layman in economics to add or detract from their well-written and well-researched paper already made public. Suffice it to say that we have a broadband backbone in PLDT, another in Telec field, both well-run by the private sector. Even the National Power Corporation has one. But because there was a cyber corridor grand vision, we had to have a national broadband network and a separate cyber education project, the total cost of which would conservatively add up to some 40 billion pesos and more when we count the maintenance and operating costs of these new government-owned facilities through the years. Both Secretary Teves and Secretary Neri asked about the very obvious overlaps between the two cyber corridor projects, one for the OTC and another for DepEd. Again, the reason advanced by the technical men of the OTC was that, one, the Chinese government wanted the NBN and the cyber education projects treated separately, and two, Secretary Jesli Lapus of DepEd had indicated that he wanted the cyber education project network solely dedicated to his department. kanya-kanyang ahensya, kanya-kanyang bilyon-bilyong proyekto, kanya-kanyang middleman, kanya-kanya rin bang kurakot, Mr. President? May fixer sa NBN, may middleman din sa CyberEd. Hindi pwedeng pagsamahin dahil sinadyang pinag-iba ang disenyo at teknolohiya. Ergo, magkahiwalay ang komisyon. Sa NBN, ang fixer ay isang ubod ng may kapangyarihang opisyal tuwing 3 taon, tuwing may halalan. Sa CyberEd, iba naman ang taga-ayos. Pero saka na natin tatalakayin ito. Mr. President, I have here the minutes of that ICC Cabinet Committee and Technical Board meeting of March 26, 2007. Despite the clear objections and apprehensions of the erudite gentlemen in finance and economic planning, the DOTC proceeded post-haste with their NBN project. On that same day, 26 March, the DOTC, through ASEC Soneha, proceeded to eliminate other proponents of the NBN. It told Amsterdam Holdings Incorporated that its proposal was incomplete. On 3 April, AHI took exception to Soneha's finding and requested proper re-evaluation. On April 10, Soneha rejected the AHI's position. On 20 April 2007, Ambassador Chrissy Kenny of the United States of America wrote to Secretary Romeo Nery expressing her government's interest in the NBN and asking the national government, and I quote, to avoid undue haste and take time to carefully review other proposals, unquote, which would include the proposal of Arescom Incorporated, an American company which had likewise been eliminated by the DOTC. On that same day, Mr. President, 20 April 2007, the same Romeo Nery, who 3 weeks earlier questioned in so many respects the DOTC proposed NBN project, had signed a letter addressed to China's Minister Bo Xilai of Commerce and Li Ruogu, Chairman and President of the Export-Import Bank of China, nominating the NBN project. Something very strange must have happened between March 26 and April 20. Did the DOTC adequately explain away Secretary Nery's cogent and reasonable apprehensions? Or did the fixer, who once boasted to the ZTE friends that he would be the most powerful official of the Philippines come the elections of 2007, get to convince Secretary Nery? How, if so, Mr. President? Most everybody in government have a high regard for Secretary Nery's probity and integrity. Before media, he would neither confirm nor deny that he was offered a kickback of 200 million pesos by the COMELEC chairman, who had taken an inordinate interest in pushing the NBN project with his friends at Songzing Telecommunications Equipment, or ZTE, bagging the project. But before close friends, Mr. President, Secretary Nery confided the truth. That is one truth we in the Senate and our counterparts in the House should hear. What or who could have pressured the otherwise upright Mr. Nery to suddenly sign approval of the NBN project he and his staff vehemently objected to earlier? The man who boasted to be the most powerful come election time, or someone who truly is most powerful all the time? I personally think it was heroic of Secretary Nery to reject 200 million pesos in bribe money reportedly offered by someone who wanted one last hurrah before he leaves government early next year. But I also think it was idiotic of him to have signed the approval of the NBN contract on 20 April 2007, or a day before the President witnessed the signing ceremony of the